Can you guys hear me now? Yes. Okay. Okay. Sorry about this. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to restart again. Hey, folks. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Saurabh Pol. Welcome to Polkeball. Today, I'm going to talk about middle management is dying. The way corporate has been structured, not just in India but globally, is changing forever, right? And it's not just AI which is leading to this, because not all answers, not all questions can have AI in them. Although this has AI, but recent news basically made this a big deal, because this is something which we have known for quite some time, that middle management. So there are people who are at the bottom rung of corporate, like the executors, young people, new people, okay. And then there are the middle managers, which is basically these people don't really hold any decision making power, frankly, but they're people managers. That is who we call middle management. They manage people, they manage teams for that matter, and they act as a link between the top management and the people who are executing everything in the company, right? So the company basically is structured like a pyramid, right? Like very few people at the top, then a few people in the middle, and then the bottom of the pyramid, the so-called bottom of the pyramid, where the volumes are high, but the quality may or may not be there, but the quantity is definitely there, right? So that is what we have in middle management. That is who we consider middle management. Now what is happening is, world over, middle management is dying because people are like, इन लोग ये लोग क्या काम करते हैं, you know. Now this is what a lot of promoters, a lot of founders, a lot of board of directors are kind of coming to the conclusion. And the biggest news recently has been that of Amazon is letting go of 14,000 middle managers as per the latest news. 14,000 middle managers is a huge, huge number, right? They're either going to straight up fire them, or they're going to be like, hey, you turn into an IC. Now, I want you guys to learn what an IC is. An IC is an individual contributor, right? So what they are saying is, we don't need people who are going to manage people. Okay, we have enough of those. We need people who can execute. We need people who know what they're doing. We need people who want to get new skills, because the challenge with being a people manager is that you become someone who is essentially, who just manages people, right? Like, you don't get any more time for anything else, because once someone has a manager, right, usually people go up to the managers and go up with all kinds of nonsense problems, okay. Nonsense from, like, it's subjective term, of course, but even me, right, like, I'll go to my manager with some or the other problem which may or may not be related to work, right? That's just human nature, and these people who are middle managers, whose only job is just managing other people, they rarely, all that they do is just like, okay, ऊपर से order आया, नीचे नीचे पहुंचा दो. Correct? Because the people at the top don't want to deal with so many people at the bottom. They are like, भाई middle layer रखते हैं एक, और ये middle layer सब कुछ करेगा, अच्छी चीज भी बुरी चीज भी. Correct? And the funniest part about these middle managers is the maximum power that they have in an organization is to give someone a bad review. That is one. Cancel someone's chutti, okay, or refuse to let someone get promoted, which is kind of very similar to the first point that I made, right? So that is the role of middle management in these large companies. Like, if your company has like 5,000 people or 10,000 people, it will have a middle management, correct? Because beyond a certain point, like, you can't give a person, you have 35 people reporting into you directly, you know so you can't give that. At max, a person can handle like 5, 6, 7 people under them. A team lead cannot have more than 5, 6 people under them, if you want to run an efficient team, at least, right? And otherwise, what they do is they keep an unofficial manager and unofficial team lead, under the actual team lead. So these things are important to understand why middle management exists. That is the most important part, and it's even more important for Indians, because Indians, in India, because we are such a populous country, let's be frank, our corporate structures are also very people heavy. Efficiency is not really what we go for. We go for effectiveness, right? And which is where the importance of middle managers comes into the picture, right? Because IT companies having 20,000, 50,000, 1.5 lakhs, 2.5 lakhs, 5 lakh people. Okay. Can the CEO manage 5 lakh people? No, they have an army of people managing people. Their entire jobs for decades, all that they have done, some people in Indian companies, is just manage people. Correct? उनके पास technical skill हो ना हो, their people management skills are top notch. And even if the people management skills are not top notch, their boss management skills are great. Basically they know how to पटाओ the top management, because top management में भी जाना हलवा नहीं होता. आप पहुंच भी गए, आपके ऊपर पैसे का प्रेशर आ जाता है. You become someone who is responsible for numbers. You become someone who is, one quarter is great, you are great, another quarter is bad, you are bad. Like the pressure is immense over there, the working hours are extremely long, and the politics is also extremely devious over there, right, at the top management. So many people are like, yeah, middle management is fantastic. I will go over there, I'll become some vice president somewhere and I'll sit over there, like, or I'll become some senior manager और बैठ जाऊंगा मैं वहाँ पे, मुझे कोई बात नहीं, I'll become furniture in that place, right? And that has worked so far for decades now, especially in the tech sector, especially in the IT sector, right? Manufacturing and all, though I know it personally that there are so many people who are middle managers and their only job is to manage people. And these people also act as the guardians or the pillars of the company's culture, right? Because they have been there for a while, and they are like, hey, we are the seniors, we are the Margdarshan Mandal, and we will ensure that everything is proper around over here, right? So that is how a middle manager works. This is who a middle manager is, and that is the importance of the middle management, right? You have any doubts, you can put it in the comment section in the chat, and I'll keep answering, right? So now that I've established the importance of a middle manager, now let's understand that why are so many companies, especially starting with Amazon, why are they trying to kick out these middle managers? ये क्या बुरा किया middle managers ने? In fact, they are such a great resource because they help things get done. Okay, they save the top management the headache of working with all the Aam Janta over there, and they save the Aam Janta from the top management's lack of empathy in a lot of ways, right? So they act like as a glue between the org structure. Now, what has happened though is that in the last 7-8 years, right, there has been a lot of overhiring, especially in the tech sector, especially in Silicon Valley, especially in American tech. And when something happens in American tech, within 6 months, it starts happening in India also. Okay, we are just like 2 quarters behind them. That's all. And some would say now only 1 quarter behind them, not that much of a difference, right? So that is what it is. Abhishek, please don't ask any questions that are not related to the topic. So coming back, like these middle managers are now, they became a very important part of these companies. Okay, they became a very big part of these companies because lot of companies in the Silicon Valley, they got so much capital, itna paisa aaya unke paas, they just straight up, they were like, we'll just hire anyone and everyone, right? Our attrition levels are high, we don't give a shit, we are hiring so many people, and when you hire like 500 more people, you need like 100 managers, or you need at least 50 managers, right? So just for every 500 people you have hired, you need 50 people to manage them, correct? And so on and so forth. And if you hire 10,000 people, you will require 500 people to manage them. Correct. So these managers, the entire job in the last 4-5 years was just, handling people and so on and so forth. But what happened is there was like this tech slowdown because the Fed, which is the Federal Reserve in the US, it cut rates. Okay, it did not, it raised rates essentially, and it was like कि now capital will be expensive, and now you will be someone who like companies के पास पैसा कम हो गया, so अन शन जो पैसा फेंके जा रहे थे, जो जीरो इंटरेस्ट रेट फिनोमेना जिसे बोलते थे, वो बंद हो गया. सो नाउ कंपनीज आर लाइक, यार पहले एकदम सस्ते में मजे में हम लोग पैसा खर्चा करते थे, अभी तो सोचना पड़ रहा है पैसा खर्चा करने से पहले. सो नाउ व्हाट कंपनीज आर रियलाइजिंग इज कि ओ शिट, we need to be more efficient. Now remember I said middle management is amazing if you want to be effective. They're not at all good if you want to be efficient, correct? Because their only job at times is just to manage other people, right? And then when companies are suddenly starting to fire people, you must have seen so many of these companies, they just fired like 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 people, right? And now suddenly when those people are fired, guess who else gets fired, right? The people who are managing them, because इनका काम ही वही है. आप कुछ टेक्निकल इनपुट वगैरह कर नहीं रहे हो, लोगों को मैनेज कर रहे हो, लोग ही नहीं है तो तुम क्यों हो? सो विच इज वाई दीज पीपल आर बीइंग आस्क्ड टू लीव. But what has happened is a lot of titans of the industry, they kind of figured out कि boss, we need ICs, we need individual contributors, we need people who have proper concrete skills, people who are actual tech workers. जो तुमने 5 साल पहले 6-7 साल पहले डिग्री की थी, that is not important. अभी तुम क्या काम कर रहे हो, तुम एक्चुअली कोई प्रोडक्ट पे काम कर रहे हो, Are you helping the company achieve any strategic goal? Please tell me yes. If not, you're out. In fact, it became better if you were not a manager. The first thing they saw when they started letting people go in Silicon Valley was like, if you're a manager, unless proven otherwise, we are kicking you out. People who were working there for 20, 20, 20, 25 years, just कंपनी स्टार्ट होके 2 साल नहीं हुआ तब से लेके अब तक काम कर रहे हैं वो लोग को हकाल दिया वो लोग ने बिना देखे. Correct. Now that happened across the board, right? In Silicon Valley, the new companies, so they were anyway, not profitable. So they were also kicking out people left and center. So that is exactly what happened. And now it is still continuing because if you see, the purse strings have been tightened across the board, across economies. Even in India, the same thing happened. So many startups which were not profitable, they basically started going down. And they were like, okay, we are firing people, we have to let people go. And I don't think the market has recovered or gone back to the 2019, 20, 21, 22, 21 का days, right? When अंधा पैसा था, किसी को भी 100% hike मिल रहा है. People who had joined IT companies 3.5 lakh रुपए में within 1 year they were out with like 14 lakhs का packages इधर उधर. So those kind of crazy days are gone, right? And not just those crazy offers are gone, the cushy life that a middle manager had is also gone. Now I don't know if you guys read this many years ago. One of India's top IT giants, they were firing people. They were like literally taking out like 10, 20,000 people. Like वो लोग भी 10, 10, 15, 15 हज़ार लोगों को निकाल रहे थे. और ये होता रहता है हर हर मतलब साल कुछ ना कुछ होता रहता है. Sometimes it's overt, sometimes it's covert, to be very frank. And the people who are being let go, what was the average age? It was around 42 to 45. The reason their age was 42 to 45, and they were, people interviewed them, and they were like, okay, what is the profile of these people? These are people, this is also India, right? This is India I'm talking about. These are people who joined as young folks in the company, grew throughout the system, but for the last 10, 15 years, all they did was just manage people. उन्होंने कभी कुछ टेक्निकल काम नहीं किया. उनके सैलरीज बढ़ते गए साल भर साल. यू विल बी लाइक, हाँ हाइक मिलता है, कुछ हाइक नहीं मिलता, 6%. दैट 6% कीप्स एडिंग अप, टू बी वेरी फ्रैंक, राइट? एंड प्रमोशन पे थोड़ा और मिल जाता है. करेक्ट. So that is the most important part. Okay. Now these people, they became bloated. They became very expensive for the company. And expensive is not a number. Expensive is an analysis. It's an evaluation. If people are out there and they are 45 years old and they're tougher to teach new things, that is the wisdom that goes out there, right? It may or may not be true. I don't think it's true, but people treat it as such, right? Ki, "Arey yaar, you can't teach this new old person new tricks," something of that sort. इनको हम क्या ही ट्रेनिंग दे. Anyway, if we just let them go and इसकी जगह पे कोई नया बंदे को लेके आ जाते हैं, इंटरनल बंदे को प्रमोट करते हैं, हमारा पैसा भी बचेगा. Correct. Plus, people who are in the system for longer, they have a lot of leverage. Correct. So companies are like, nikalte raho, keep churning. This was, kind of taught to us in our MBA college that you want to keep your costs down. You have to let people go, and keep getting new people. You have to keep churning the machine because new people don't cost as much and they are more hungry. They are more efficient in a lot of ways. At least that was the wisdom many people have. May or may not be true, but old people basically need, and everyone else is kept on their toes. कि यार किसी को भी निकाल सकते हैं तो हमको भी निकाल सकते हैं. So it is not just a matter of money, it's also a matter of morale, right? Which they want to keep up in a lot of ways. Not keep up as in, or keep everyone on their toes essentially, right? कि हलवा नहीं है, मजाक नहीं, हम कुछ कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे. So that is why middle management is the first set of people to be let go the moment people start to cut the fat. You are considered fat when you are basically taking more from the company than giving the company. Even the companies are smart, right? They are like कि मैं 1 रुपया दूंगा, मुझे 5 रुपए चाहिए तुझसे. Correct. When they see that some people are not able to justify or contribute to that, they basically are like, तुम चले जाओ यहाँ से. Now, okay, when people go, then what exactly are you going to do? वो भी तो कुछ काम कर रहे थे. They were also enabling something, right? So how are things going to work out over here? Now, this is where our new friend comes into the picture, AI, artificial intelligence. Now, I'll be very frank, right? मैं 3-4 लोग का काम कर रहा हूँ in the last few months. In the last couple of quarters, I'll be frank, I have started working 3 to 4 people ka work. I've been doing that. And the reason I've been able to do that, my productivity has skyrocketed purely because of AI. Okay, purely because of AI. purely because of these AI tools that I have at my disposal. Okay, both in my professional life as well as my personal life, right? You have to work hard to learn more about it. So that is what is going on right now. And the promoters, the leaders, the founders, the board of directors, the titans of the industry have understood that. दे हैव अंडरस्टूड कि भाई अभी अगर एक आदमी 5 का काम कर सकता है, तो आप सबको वो आदमी बता दो जो एग्जीक्यूट कर रहा है. बेसिकली दे आर सेइंग एवरीवन बिकम एन इंडिविजुअल कंट्रीब्यूटर, ओनली फ्यू पीपल बिकम मैनेजर्स, and you don't have to manage people as such, you just have to manage the results. Okay, we'll ensure that the people management aspect is as little as possible, and we are going to judge people based on their outcomes, like keep people busy in terms of their work, their projects, their tasks, and that's all that we expect out of them, and that's what we want it to happen. We want our companies to be lean mean machines. Okay, so lean mean machine का मतलब ये मैं कम पैसा दूंगा, मुझे और ज़्यादा चाहिए काम तुमसे. ठीक है, that is all English that is used. Okay, so I want you to learn that. So that is why middle management also is losing leverage, because they are not able to show that they are adapting to new technologies. They are not able to show that, hey, them being a manager is better than them being an individual contributor. Correct? And basically, the moment you not being there is better off for the P&L statement of the company, you will be out. Remember that much. Every quarter, you should ask yourself, have I contributed? Have I done something for the company that it really needed? And what am I going to do in the next quarter? That can actually make me even more valuable than I am right now. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to tell you, like what everyone needs to learn, which even I need to learn, because I am someone who would perfectly fit in that middle management category. If right now I move to a big company, right? So I would be perfect in the middle management category. See, in certain countries like India, it is not really easy to take out middle management. It's not, frankly, as much as it is in the US, right? Because in India, people management is a very big deal. It's a very big deal, right? But also, if you really want to move up into your career, middle management becomes a little bit of a comfort trap. Like you go over there, you're like, हाँ ठीक है, chill है, बड़ा बॉस मेरे को जानता है, मेरे साथ ही एक टाइम पे he and I used to be chill together. He went up in his career, he sacrificed a lot, I'm happy for him. मुझे वहाँ ऊपर नहीं जाना है. Give me a couple of teams, I'll handle them. Even the big bosses are like, अरे हाँ, this man, I know he's my friend, but on a professional level, like I'm his boss and my boss's boss probably, and it's cool, like everyone wins, right? So in India, थोड़ा वो भाईचारा दोस्ती यारी में हम कर लेते हैं चीज़ें. That is not how things work in US and not in Europe. Even in Europe, there is a little bit, but US में तो they are very particular. They're very efficient that way. I won't use the word ruthless. I'll use the word efficient because, hey, during the pandemic and those years, like people were just joining tech out of nowhere, right? When the gravy train was going on, nobody complained about what these companies were doing. And now, once they are letting people go, they're shedding the fat and so on and so forth. So to say, I don't think you can complain about it either, right? They're just going back to the shape that they were in before. In fact, some of them are still at a level where they have twice the number of people they had in 2019 and all, right? So just keep that in mind before you make an analysis. And is this the end of middle management overall? I would say okay. Now let me tell you one thing, right? This is important for you if you're starting your career. You can actually spend your career being an individual contributor for at least the next 10-15 years. Easy. There is a high chance we won't see as many managers as we saw 10-15-20 years ago. Okay, I don't think so, because the reason simply being that the founders are going to be like, boss, मुझे पता है एक आदमी 5 का काम कर सकता है, तो why should I hire five people? And if there is one person, I don't need a manager to manage that one person. वो अपना कर लेगा या फिर मैं उसको देख लूंगा. You get me? So the layers are going to reduce, and this is the exact language used by Andy Jassy, who is the CEO of Amazon. Right? They're like, bhai, layers kam karo. Between top management and the execution folks, there should not be too many people. Pehle agar 25, there were like Mark Zuckerberg once commented that there were 7 levels between him and one engineer. He's like, I want it to become 2 to 3 levels only. Okay. इज लाइक मेरे को बस 2 लेवल चाहिए अपने बीच में और सबसे लोएस्ट वाले एम्प्लॉय के बीच में। मेरे को फ़र्क ही नहीं पड़ता तुम कैसे करोगे ये, बट करके दो। दीस दैट्स हाउ दे ऑपरेट, राइट? सो which is also something that will happen in India, because remember, the moment you hire someone, there are 700 things that you have to take care of, right? It becomes a legal issue also. Ki, oh, by law you have to take care of that person, you have to give them medical insurance, you have to ensure they get like all sorts of 401k, which is the retirement apne आप जो NPS type होता है वो सब. But when you hire an AI bot, okay, or you pay extra for an AI service, it's cheaper. It's there is less legal liability, there is less physical liability, so you are able to run a much more leaner organization, right? So I personally feel, which I've been saying for the longest time, hiring will reduce because of AI, and not just hiring, but also the number of managers will reduce because of AI, right? So if you think you are someone who wants to become a manager, कि मैं manage करेगा, मैं manager है, I would highly recommend you. I mean, it's good to have that ambition. Even I have that ambition, right? But remember, it's not going to be the glory days. At least in the next 5, 6, 7 years, so I don't see those glory days coming back. Already, if you think about it, there was a time everyone used to have their own cubicle. वो भी जा चुका है. ओके, क्यूबिकल्स भी जा चुके हैं. ऐसा वो भेड़ बकरी की तरह वो ओपन फ्लोर ऑफिस प्लान में बैठना पड़ता है. ठीक है. People hate the cubicle. I don't know why people hate cubicles. I have worked in cubicles. They're beautiful. They're amazing. खुद का privacy मिलता है, सब set होता है. Similarly, I would say, like, if you remember, like, in previous times, if you are a manager, you got your own cabin. Okay, आजकल तो CEO के भी खुद के cabins नहीं होते, पता है आपको? Even CEOs don't have cabins in small and mid-sized companies. They also sit outside because they're like, oh, we are going to be democratic and all of that. The reality is they're trying to save money in terms of the corporate real estate that they have. They are like, itne mein ho raha hai na, bas kar lo. Open floor plans, basically they house more people, in a smaller space than if you have like a cubicle based office plan. So everything is related to revenue per square feet or cost per square feet. Never forget that. That's how corporates work, that's how companies work. Okay, so please keep that in mind, and that is why these decisions are being made. Management is no longer going to be bloated. Management is also going to be lean, and only the best of the best are going to be managers, people managers. On top of it, from what I understand, from what I am reading, and from what I'm seeing in my interactions with some folks in the industry, even the top managers will be required to spend 25 to 50% at times of their time doing individual work. तो एक जमाना था ना, मेरा काम क्या है, काम करवाना है, मेरा काम. वो सुपरवाइजर, फैक्ट्री सुपरवाइजर जैसी हरकतें, those days are gone. Now even the top management folks will be expected to pull their weight, is what I'm trying to say. And not just micromanagement of the people under them, right? Like, actually the CEO will give them work and be like कि दे दे, दिखा, चल रिव्यू करते साथ में. You get me? So this is what is happening. Even if you're a manager, you will be expected to do your own thing. Yeah, so that is how it works. So yeah, to conclude, you have any questions, please put it in the chat. Like, but to conclude, I will say that middle management in India will still be there, but it won't be as bloated as it was before. Middle management in the US though is going down completely in a lot of ways. AI is playing a huge role in helping the top management replace the middle management, right? With their fat salaries and not so productive, work that they do, apparently. Like, that's what they're claiming. So remember that, right? So these are the things that you need to keep in mind. And if you have ambitions of being a manager, please remember, even the top managers right now will be expected to contribute physically. Yeah. They will be expected to work on products in hand, like, matlab, with their apna haath, ungli, aapko sab andar dalna padega. You have to get your hands dirty. The time of being a supervisor has gone. Everyone is going to become an individual contributor, right? So even within the company, they will expect you to, pull your own weight, is so to say. So it is getting a bit more democratic. Times are changing, and I want you folks to be aware of it, right? Otherwise, what's the point of Poll Ke Bol? So anyway, folks, these were my thoughts. If you have any questions, any comments about this topic, please put it in the chat, and probably I can answer. Naman is saying, hey, Naman. Ajay is like, Amazon laid off 25,000 people. Yeah, they have been laying off people quite a bit. But the latest news is they are letting go of 14,000 middle managers, right? That's very specific that they're letting go of. Deepak is like, hey, bro. Hey, hi, Deepak. Okay, Manat is like 580 GMAT. Okay. Godwin is like, hello, how are you, brother? Hi, Godwin. I'm good. I'm a bit tired because I've had like meetings and all, and probably I'll have to work for another 15 minutes, half an hour after this, but it is what it is. And yeah, Prasanna Das is like, wasted my 2 years on CAT exam. Sorry, no. Ajay Soni is like, now what about MBA future? I made a video on the future of MBA, and but what do you mean by MBA future? The degree or the people? The degree or the people? Finally, the best commenter is here. Rohini is here. Thank you, Rohini, with the best comments that I get. I will answer your comment. Ajay is like, what about MBA future? Like, do you mean the degree or the person who's an MBA or the graduate rather? Let me take the question the way I understand it. Please understand, MBAs are not managers. आपको झूठ बोला गया है, आपको बुद्धू बनाया गया है. Like if you are an MBA, okay, what is expected out of you is like, हाँ बाबा तेरे को थोड़ा पैसा एक्स्ट्रा दे देंगे, बट तू काम कर. You are expected to have a skill of your own. ओके, आपको खुद का स्किल होना चाहिए, कुछ आपका कुछ कंट्रीब्यूशन होना चाहिए, आपका कोई एक फंक्शन होना चाहिए. इट कुड बी यू आर इनटू कॉर्पोरेट फाइनेंस, यू आर इन इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग, you are an analyst, bloody hell, you are a project manager, you are a performance marketer, you're a product marketer, you're an operations manager. बट आपको एक चीज करनी आनी चाहिए. यू आर एन इवेंट्स मैनेजर, यू शुड नो व्हाट यू आर डूइंग. यू आर अ सेल्स गाय, मुझे बेचना आता है. करेक्ट. एंड एमबीए का मतलब ये नहीं है मैनेजर बन गए, कुछ नहीं होता. यू आर सपोज टू कंट्रीब्यूट टू द रेवेन्यू or to any strategic part of the company. Okay, so keep that in mind. And yeah, then the thing is, then you have an option. Do you want to be a middle manager then, or do you want to go right to the top? But you can't go to the top directly, right? आपको कभी ना कभी तो middle manager बनना पड़ेगा. But then what kind of a middle manager will you be? Someone who's ready to sit and chill over there, or someone who wants to go to the top, right? Both are tough decisions, frankly speaking. Or I recently spoke to a friend who became a new friend, who was like, you know what, I don't want to be a manager, I don't want to deal with people. You ask me technical things, I'll solve it. मेरे को जिंदगी भर individual contributor रहना है. Even that's a good one, but is it possible in places other than tech? That is the whole point. Is it possible in places other than marketing? That is the whole point. You have to keep that in mind, right? So not every field, domain, function is going to be able to provide that kind of an opportunity. So you have to keep that in mind. So yeah, Prasanna is like, wasted 2 years on CAT exam. Any better suggestion, excuse for the interview? No, I don't give excuses for interviews. Rohini is like, this is because of the flat hierarchy structure corporates are adopting. Perfect. Yeah. So Rohini, of course, like this is a point which I made already, right? Like companies are trying to reduce the number of layers. They want a flat hierarchy, and flat hierarchy, layers, this is all English. They want to have less people, than they had before. They want to increase, they want to boost the efficiency of their company, they want to boost the productivity of their company. And why not? अगर 10 लोग 20 लोग का काम कर रहा है, फैंटास्टिक. दैट इज हाउ कंपनीज ग्रो. ओके, सिर्फ 10 लोग का काम कर रहा है, उससे नई कंपनी आगे बढ़ता. 10 लोग जब 15 लोग का काम 20 लोग का काम करता है, देन दैट इज व्हेन यू बीट द कॉम्पिटिशन एंड मूव अहेड, right? So that is something you need to keep in mind. And companies want efficiency, people who they can depend upon, who can use AI tools and really go ahead and solve things. So yeah, GATE is like, wasted my 3 years on GATE exam. तेरा नाम भी सही है. Unable to get a rank, future seems bleak. All the best, I guess, bro. I'm sorry I'm coming off as unempathetic, but please stick to the topic of the chat that we have. It's almost half an hour. Wow. I mean, My eyes are red, but I'll wait for any more comments on the topic at hand. I think this is a great topic. I personally love this topic because this has been happening for years now. Honestly, this has been happening for years now. That middle management people are finally looking at it and are like, "तुम करते क्या हो?" You know. And nowadays, it is, see, as I mentioned, right, there was a time where experience was really important. But when your industry is being disrupted, and someone who joined 4 years ago and someone who joined 15 years ago, uh, there is not much of a difference between the two. When your industry reaches that point, then your experience wala people, they become tougher to work with, because they have their own dogmas, they have their own ways of working. वो होते हैं ना, पुराने लोगों की पुरानी हरकतें वो जाती नहीं है. It's a human thing, right? It doesn't go. It doesn't go. That's the thing. And young people are cheaper. They are more energetic, easily manipulated. Please remember, this is also important. This is also important. Gate, you're asking questions that can be googled. So yeah, this is what I want you folks to know, right? And remember, if you are in middle management, it is extremely important that you start going around and being like, boss, how can I become an individual contributor? you know you have to do that. That is what I would recommend, because you have to justify कि आपको कितना पैसा मिल रहा है. You have to genuinely justify that. That is the most important part, is what I would say. It goes without saying you have to learn AI and automation tools. It just goes beyond saying, like, I honestly cannot uh, uh, emphasize it even more. I honestly cannot emphasize it even more. It is the most important part that you can be doing, right? And remember, you have to be a specialist in something. At least, you can be a jack of all trades, but be a master of one at least. Like, people should look at you and be like, isko ye aata hai. He's a product marketer, or he's a marketer in general. He can do a lot of things, but this is his one skill, and these are the other complementary skills that you kind of get. So that is what it is, right? So remember, please have a specialization. Please have something which you can say, this is mine, this is who I am, right? Please don't keep changing your profiles. After a point of time, you can't change your profiles. You have to lock your profile by 30 to 35 ki umar mein, and then uske baad you have to spend the next 15 to 20 years doing what you're doing. I know it sucks, but more or less this is how people work on an average, right? You can always find outliers, but more often than not, people choose their domain by 35 and they stick to it. 35 तो बहुत बोल लिया मैंने, but it's okay. Nowadays we have more freedom, and I don't want people to feel boxed in, but 35 is a good age to be like, okay, I know this is who I am, and let's stick to it and let's work on it, right? And have a specialization, have a calling card. हैव अ कॉलिंग कार्ड. मैं 4 चीज़ें करता हूँ, बट एक चीज़ में मैं बहुत अच्छा हूँ. So that will define you, and that will save your ass when the company is looking at its org structure like किसको निकाले किसको नहीं निकाले, because ये करता ही क्या है. Remember, better be transferred from a managerial role to an individual contributor role than to become a, what do you say, than get fired, than get fired, to be very frank. So anyway, that's that. Okay, Gray is like, do you think governments will step in at some time to lay down some regulations with AI adoption? Tech sector likely to become the worst hit? No, that's not going to happen. If it had to happen, it would have happened. They have successfully subverted everything. At max, I'll tell you what's going to happen, right? Gray, that's a very good question. What's going to happen is AI will run amok. Whatever happens, happens. And after a point of time, all governments are going to realize that, yeah, as I said, right, like, not everyone can be hired in these roles. The number of people that are going to be hired is going to reduce massively. So the government is like, because many more people are going to become unemployed, and robotics is also taking over, by the way. Please remember that Amazon warehouses and other warehouses, you should check, completely robot operated. Many other places, right? So then when you have driverless cars and driverless trucks and all of that, you have drone delivery and all. What is the role of human beings? Human beings will live on UBI, which is universal basic income. A huge percentage of the population will live on welfare. And where will this welfare be funded from? Because all these companies who are going to use AI and technology and robotics and automation to become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, those companies basically will have to give a percentage of their profit, a larger percentage of their profit, a larger percentage of the revenue, sorry, to this pool of money, this pool of welfare money that will go to human beings. And then only those jobs that cannot be replicated by human beings will be, safe in a lot of ways. And I do see a bleak future in that sense. And I with our country's population, I hope we manage it better. But I don't know, man. It's a bit tough, honestly. Gray. But there will be no slowing down of progress. Because if you slow down and your competitor country doesn't slow down, you're fucked, right? So that is why there will not be any. See, this is the new nuclear age. This is the new space age. We are in the nuclear race. We are in a space race, and which is what AI is. This it is the newest, meanest technology. It's going to change the world, and there's going to be a lot of disruption, honestly. And middle management and all being wiped off is just the beginning, I personally feel. So yeah. Um cool. Gate is like, is it true that your chances of getting fired increases as you age? Not really. Ajay is like, in India, you will see effect in 2, 3 years in the market. Yes, but also it's a matter of culture, right, Ajay? As I said, in India, you have to deal with people a bit differently, right? In the US, you enter in the morning, they give you the pink slip, and then you have to leave with your बोरिया बिस्तर, ऐसा लेके शाम को निकलना पड़ता है. इंडिया में वैसा नहीं होता. You have to be a little more chill. And India में it's like, you don't, we genuinely consider work folks as family, you know. That whole ruthless culture of the West has not really come over here. I don't think it will ever come. It will be there, but it won't be as ruthless, is what I personally feel. So middle management will reduce in India. It will not be wiped off. Yeah. So that is what it is. Chandru is like, I'm in big four audit team and KPMG, but I feel the work I do is not that good. Our learning curve right after my BCom, should I do? Okay. 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 Yeah, all these questions are basically career advice related. Sorry, Chandru and Sachin. Please join another, Q&A, or you can put it in the comment section of the relevant videos. I will respond over there to your challenges, and to your questions. I want to help people, but let's stick to the topic of the day, right? So, yeah. What do you think? Like, there are quite a few people right now. What are your thoughts on this? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm saying something wrong. Maybe you are like, क्या बोल रहा है ये आदमी? But I would highly recommend, just let me know if you have any questions. I'll wait for a couple of minutes. Gate is like, what do middle managers do? Gate, go take the cursor, go back to minute 3 or 4, which is where I started, and you will get your answer. But to just so that other new people are over here, once again, middle managers, their job is to manage people. Okay, their job is to manage teams. Top management, when after a point of time, if the company has like 5,000 people, 10,000 people and above, top management can't handle like 30, 40 people per person, right? They need 5 people under them who will have like, you know 10 people each under them. And that is how one person can handle 50 people in a lot of ways, right? The job is to be the conduit between the top management and the bottom rung of the corporate ladder. Basically, that's what executors, middle managers, and then top managers. So that is how it works. And their job is to handle teams, and basically जो top management बोलता है वो करना होता है, और जो रोना धोना होता है बॉटम लोगों का, उनको जो एग्जीक्यूशन लेवल का होता है उनका संभाल के लेना होता है. दैट्स देयर जॉब essentially. So yeah. Gaurav Maurya is like, future of HR. Will we still need HRs in future? Do you foresee heavy downsizing in HR teams? I see heavy downsizing in every team, frankly. I'm in marketing. I've been saying this for the longest time now, for the 6 months almost. Key marketing teams will become very small. Like, one person will be expected to do 3-4 log ka kaam. So these teams are going to be smaller and smaller, and naturally, if teams are smaller, the number of managers required will be less. So but if number of people you have to manage becomes less, then HR is human resources. If the number of H reduces, the resources, like the number of people you need to manage them kind of goes down. So to answer your question, Gaurav, uh, there won't be heavy downsizing, but I think the number of HRs will reduce in the future, just like everyone else's numbers will reduce, is what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, that's what it is. And yeah, but if companies start completely automating, if they start using only robots, then the HR function might as well go away, right? Like in that sense. The legal function will gain a lot more importance in the next 10 to 15 years. The legal function, remember that much. Yeah. So yeah, Ajay is like, oh, he had to remove some people from his business. That's sad. Profit is key. You have to deal with it. Be ruthless. Yes, you have to. Right? It's companies are not a charity. You have to deal with, धंधा धंधा चलाना होता है यार. Dhanda doesn't run on vibes. Dhanda runs on profit, or VC money. So that is what it works on. So yeah, Ajay and Paresh are finding something funny in the comments. I think, I don't know, maybe I missed the joke. Gate is like, is getting into government job a good idea now? Looking at what's happening in corporate. I don't know much about government jobs, yeah, but anywhere you go, you will see the number of people required is going to reduce. That's all I'll say. That's all I'm going to say. So, and don't be surprised that the number of government employees also reduce in the future. I personally feel it will, because see, governments are slow. They're not stupid. Some governments are, but on an average level, government is filled with like extremely smart people. They may or may not have your best interests at heart, but they are smart, like whether you like it or not, right? So that is the whole thing. So okay, Ajay, I got your comment. No HR. Okay, no HR needed. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the reality, right? Like अगर लोग ही नहीं है तो क्या HR लगेगा तुम, मतलब, like HR is there if you need more people for it, right? Otherwise, what's the point? That's if you see any startup, many startups, they don't even hire an HR in the beginning. They hire HRs much later. They are like कि हाँ यार, अभी थोड़ा 50 लोग हो गए, HR का गरज है, 15 लोग में काहे का HR है कि नहीं? Small and medium enterprises don't have HR. The founder is the HR. you know so that is how it works. Anyway, I think, folks, it's 42 minutes. It's been quite a while. I'm also feeling a little drowsy. Need to wake up, go to the gym, and looking forward to Friday tomorrow. Any final comments, let me know in the chat. And folks, you are here, so many of you are here. It's lovely. Can you please comment, subscribe, like? If you like the like react, ऐसा ऐसा करोगे ना, तो ऐसा बहुत मजा आता है मेरे को, ऐसा मजा आता है मेरे को. So no, the algorithm likes it, so please do that. And Gate is like, should I ban AI or should they regulate AI? Gate, I think your internet should be regulated because you are not listening to what I'm saying. I answered this question, bro. I said AI will not be regulated. They're not going to do that. At max, they'll add safety guardrails that you can't use someone's face or use bad things, do bad things with AI. That is the max that they're going to do, but they're not going to stop it. They call it creative destruction. I want you to Google it. I want you to Google the meaning of creative destruction. So that will answer your question. So yeah. Ajay is like, do you live in NCR? God loves me. Thankfully, I don't live in NCR. Chandru is like, what will happen to a country like India, which is heavily dependent on middle and back office jobs that will be automated? How will Indian service-based companies mitigate this? Will there be an crash? I'm assuming a crash is what you're asking, Chandru. So Chandru, I think this is a great question. Chandru, I'm responding. So great question. So what is going to happen to companies? यार इंडिया में ना, मैंने ये AI वाला वीडियो बनाया था, आप जाके देख लो वापस. We are going to be affected. Back office jobs are going to get automated, quite a few of them. So the base level jobs, the L1, L2 wala jobs are going to go away, frankly. So the jobs that will require the work, the projects, the tasks that require genuine coordination and human creativity and actual research and all work and all, that those jobs will be the only jobs that will stay in India. So the companies which had at one point of time, even right now, 5 lakh people, 4 lakh people, 2 lakh people, that number is going to reduce. I personally feel that number is going to reduce in the future. So it will impact our middle office and back office jobs. They will be automated. Customer service though is going to change massively, massively. It is going to change massively. So yeah, and India kind of built its service economy, IT services economy, on customer service. Those call centers, BPOs and all, KPOs and all is are also going to be automated, quite a few of them. So keep that in mind. Gaurav is like, great analysis. Thank you, Gaurav. Um, Gate is like, is doing a master's in AI. Good idea now. AI को मास्टर करो पहले. Masters in AI नहीं. मास्टर AI, then AI, before AI becomes your master. Gate तो बहुत सवाल पूछ रहा है, मतलब अनशर्न सवाल. But I like your questions. I'm just messing with you. But yeah, there is nothing called as masters in AI, bro. It's changing every day. There's nothing called as masters in AI. Shubham is like, Shubham Pimpre. Hello, sir. Sir, mat bolo. Having 3 years of experience and in oil and gas, I'm planning my MBA. Can it count as good experience? Okay, not related to the topic, but please go do your MBA. You have core experience, bro. Everyone loves core experience. Okay. Godwin is like, bye, bro. Thanks. Bye, Godwin. Ajay is like, Gate is affected by Grok. Yeah, Grok, badhiya, yaar. I love Grok, honestly. Chandru is like, yeah, I answered your question. Dekho, Chandru. So, yeah, Ajay is like, why so much hatred for NCR? No, yeah, I like NCR. I think NCR food is beautiful. The roads are unbelievable. The metro is, the Delhi metro, which goes into NCR, is just frankly fantastic. The places are huge. Mumbai में छोटी छोटी जगह होती है बस, but the land, the amount of land that is there in Noida and Gurgaon and all, it's crazy. It's beautiful. I don't like the people as much, frankly. मेरा थोड़ा सा मतलब, not like the people, I would say जमता नहीं है मेरा, बनता नहीं है उतना आसानी से उनके साथ, because I think they're a bit too brash for my tastes, you know. So I guess that is what it is. And of course, in terms of safety, I have felt a bit unsafe in NCR. I've seen things in front of me. I've seen things in front of me which I would never see in a Mumbai or a Bangalore or a Hyderabad, where I feel यार ये क्यों हो रहा है यहाँ पे. I'm feeling a bit unsafe. थोड़ा सा rough है NCR मेरे tastes के लिए, but I have a lot of friends there who live there who love NCR, and yeah, that's what I would say. And खाना तो unbeatable है यार NCR का, frankly खाना unbeatable है. मौज मस्ती वहाँ पे काफ़ी होती है, but I personally feel it's unsafe in certain parts, and I'm not used to that, right? So that is what it is. So Ajay has put a comment which is so beautiful. I'm going to use it to conclude my day. This channel is for market reality, guys. Thank you so much. Absolutely, Ajay. Thank you so much. Please take care, everyone. Like, comment.